Baddies, welcome back to another episode of Terra's Baddies Club. I'm really excited for today's guest because this one, we'll just say, is a long time coming since October. If you know, you know. It is about the Obsessed Fest incident that happened. Ellyn, Marsh, and I are going to be talking about that today, along with the panel that we have coming up at True Crime and Paranormal Festival this weekend. If you can't come to Colorado, can't come to the festival, even though we hope that you can, if you're in the area, please just come see the show. She's going to be doing a live show on Friday night. Then we are doing a panel on Sunday during, I think, afternoon, noon. It starts around 11:30 or 12:30, I think, around then. So come and check it out. We made merch. We made t-shirts. We made tote bags. We made stickers. We made it all, and it's on sale on my website, terranewellsurvival.com. And it is it's really funny to me. We love to kind of turn a tragedy into something that we can laugh about and grow past now. So I'm really excited. And also 25% of the proceeds go to Season of Justice. So we are excited to donate and raise awareness, raise funds, and really have a conversation about reconciling and moving past our trauma, moving past, a disagreement that we had. And I'm so thankful to have her on today. I want to welcome Ellyn Marsh. All right, well, welcome Ellyn to Terra's Baddies Club. I don't know why, but I feel like I just love you. I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, I love Ellyn. She's one of my favorite people. How we got together was crazy.
Oh.
But welcome.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. I adore you. I was just telling a story about, well, this is a preview, so we're doing a panel together, and we were talking about what we were going to do at the panel, and I go, and Tara goes, do you want me to bring, and I thought she was going to say, a PowerPoint, some pictures, and she goes, mushrooms? I was like, I love you. Yeah.
We talked a lot about our panel. We don't have anything down yet, but we'll get it down.
We're here, and yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to see you smiling, and I love talking. You're the easiest person to talk to. Sometimes we talk for an hour and a half. I don't talk to anyone on the phone for an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh, I feel so special. Thank you. Well, for the folks that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ellyn. I have a couple podcasts. I have a true crime podcast with my best friend, Joey Taranto. It's called I Think Not, and we recap true crime TV shows. And we lighten the mood a little bit. We don't, make fun of victims or crime, but we don't do the gory details and, stuff like that. I'm a little bit sensitive. And then I have a podcast with Rabia Chaudhry called Rabia and Ellyn Solve the Case, which is a talk show where we bring a case and then we really just talk about it. We kind of outline the case and then we talk about, how we feel about it. And then I have a Love is Blind recap podcast, which is the easiest part of my week with Daisy Egan. I'm also a mom to a 15-year-old. And I spent most of my life on Broadway performing in musicals in New York. And Tara and I met back in October. And we didn't have a great start, but it finished really well because now we love each other. How do you say that we met and became friends? I've never heard your version of it. And not your version of the story, but how do you say what happened? So we had a really bad first meeting.
So yeah,
How do you say we turned it around? We can go into those details later, but how do you say we took this really awful, painful, confusing situation and turned it around?
So, well, I tell people the full story. Like, I was on a date yesterday and I was like, I'm going to this one festival. I'm really excited because I get to see Ellen. And they're like, who's Ellen? And I'm like, okay, so there was an elevator. Okay, so I say, we got into the elevator, my ex and I, we go down a floor, we're in the elevator, and it's funny because you get in, and I said, like, there was like some commotion, some back, some stuff, we'll say, and I will be honest, only person that I was getting fueled by because of an ex trauma of mine is this guy, James Renner. He wrote an article, and then it was like there was some commotion, and I didn't really care for him. And I said something to you in an elevator. There was a bunch of like misunderstandings, I feel like, from both parts. And it kind of got to the place where my ex said some, and then we get out of the elevator. I say that you guys are like, he's still engaging with you. You're still in, you guys are engaging with each other. I try to like walk separate away from it. And then I see you guys like talking.
Yeah, over tea. We had
Yeah.
scones. It was
Mhm.
lovely.
Yeah. And then I get heated. I yell at you to, and I'm sorry if this triggers you in any way.
No, it's okay.
Okay, I yell at you to F off, but full form. And then I yell to your fans some slurs that will just say we're not really nice. And then, yeah, and I take full ownership for like my part of because that wasn't cool. And I never want to make anyone felt the way that you felt in that moment.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it was just confusing. I don't know if you remember this. So I'm deaf in one ear.
Yes, yes.
And remember, I thought you guys were like complimenting me. Thought you guys were like, because first of all, the whole festival was run in a very poor way. I didn't know you were a presenter. Like, I didn't know you were there. We didn't have a meetup, but like, I knew your name and I didn't know your face. And so when I read your name tag, my brain was like, oh, but
Well,
I didn't even know you were there, you know? So
yeah.
it was, yeah, it was a lot of confusion. It was one of those things where you're like, oh, and everyone's reacting, and it was like I was in a sequin dress. I was running to a panel in a sequin dress, and it was all really confusing. And I will say to anyone who I've told this story to, I'll say a couple things. Number one, you were fueled with a lot of misinformation that we have since cleared up by way of screenshots, emails. I'm like, no, look. And you were in a situation where I know this now because you're my friend. There are certain things that physically heighten your anxiety and trigger you, and being around large groups of people and you weren't taken care of the way that you said you would. So I feel like your anxiety was already at a 10. And I
Yeah.
didn't know that about you. I know that about you now. And we've both shared like our we both have PTSI and CPTSI, and we've shared that with each other, and there are just certain things. So I will always say that behind the scenes things fueled that. And then I will always tell everyone that you had an extreme and immediate accountability, and other people backed you up. And some
Yeah.
people lied about that. And the people that I trusted said no. Tara wanted to immediately talk and immediately apologize. And I am a communicator. It is the thing that I think if everybody could spend 2 minutes working something out, they can figure it out. And that's what you wanted to do. And you were stopped from doing that initially. So I feel like when we did finally come together, which we both wanted to talk to each other. We told mutual friends,
Yeah.
let's get to the bottom of this. And I think it took us 5 minutes. I mean, we talked for hours. Like that first time we talked for like 2 hours or something, but it took us 5 minutes to just say, you're a human, I'm a human. We share so much in common. We share, past traumas, and we share anxieties, and let's figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm really proud of us. Like I say, like I am. This could have gone a totally different way, but we both wanted to talk to each other. Face to face, we were on FaceTime.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference too, really like looking and feeling someone's energy. And we talked it out.
Yeah. No, and then I also like I almost was gonna interrupt you, but then I was like, let me let you finish, Ellen. But there was on our guest or on our guest pass, it said we were guests. It didn't say we were speakers too. And so there was also, you thought I was a fan.
Yeah.
And
I
so
did, yeah.
there was just so much, and I'm like, it's just, I'm happy we're out of it. Because like even I don't know about you, but even talking about it now like makes me a little bit like nervous and like not upset with you in any way, but just like, wow, that was a heavy moment that we went through.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ripple effects were something that you and I felt very in different ways, but they were still very real. I mean, I was not okay for a really long time. And it was other stuff on top of that, and you too. And it was a lot. And just connecting with you, and I didn't know we were going to build a friendship, but just connecting with you and hearing each other really helped that journey. And it was a long journey, and we still feel the ripple effects to this day. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. But but I was telling someone just before, I was like, remember that situation? I'm sitting down to a podcast, and he said something, and I was like, but I also say that was a really ugly moment that you had, and we have all had those ugly moments. They're just not all in front of people, Like,
Yeah.
some of my ugliest moments, if they were seen by people, we all lose our shit. We all have trauma. We all have anxiety. And the fact that there were witnesses is why your ripple effect was very different and challenging in a different way, because
Yeah.
we all feel that way. I feel like understanding really how much all of your anxiety was building that weekend, I was like, yeah, of course she exploded.
Yeah. Well, and then I feel like there was like, and I could cut this part out if you want me to, but like the other day you told me something that was really funny. You were like, Tara, I might have should have fucked off or something like that. And I was just like, I fucking love you because you even got that like it like not that you were like at fault or anything, but there was like all the players, like there was like multiple,
Yeah. Yeah.
dimensions. Like not everybody was like 100% like, you know, prim
Yeah.
proper, like,
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
I love that human aspect of it.
Yeah. And I will say that, if you want to cut this out, you can. I will say that, like, I feel like you unfairly took a big amount of the burden of that. And you were the only person in all of the cast of characters that 100% owned your shit and apologized. And you're the only one. You're literally the only one.
Well,
and
thank you.
and that's hard. And but it's easy too, right? Because it's like when for example, like if I lose my shit at my daughter or something, I'll just be like, wow, that was about something totally different. You did not deserve that heat right now, and because we are so flawed, and sometimes I have great responses to things, and I'm like, pat myself on the back. I'm like, you did good. And sometimes that's like 16-year-old Ellyn who is, traumatized by a boy from high school. It's like, whoa, who is that monster? So, yeah. And I think that, we have this panel coming up in Denver, and they were like, what do you want to talk about? I was like, I don't know. I just want to be like, look at us fucking badasses, coming together and just talking.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Yeah. Well, and then something I feel like I really enjoy is getting to know you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
You too.
Well, yeah. Well, your story is out there, but that is just a fraction of the story, number one. And it's also a fraction of everything that you've gone through. I mean, wait, did you say James Renner's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could say his name. I've said his name several times on my podcast because I have screenshots of him going after me.
Yeah.
And saying like, oh, by the way, because of the Obsessed Fest mess, Tara didn't, maybe Tara's lying about Billy.
Right. So then you told me that whole backstory, which I remember where I was, my jaw was to the ground. I was like, of course this woman would be so pissed if she thought I was in cahoots with that guy. I don't know that guy. Like, I showed you every DM, like, I don't know. And so I think that, understanding all of your trauma, Tara, there's been a lot, girl.
There's a lot.
I think it is, you're much more than the story of Dirty John. And I think that is something that in your other podcast was sort of glossed over because I feel like you were talked over a lot in your story. So I'm just really proud that you have like this platform so that you can be like, also, this is the shit I've gone through, and this is the shit I've gone through, and I continue to go through. And it's an everyday thing. And the traumas and the CPTSI and recognizing the things that trigger us and how we move through the world. So I'm just excited like that people can see like a different side of you.
Thank you. And I'm so excited for Colorado, so excited for the panel. And I love everything that you have going on too. And I'm like, I wish I was going to Nashville tomorrow because I'm like, Hillary Burton is amazing.
Yes, ticket.
I wish. My birthday's on the 3rd. So it's like, and her birthday's on the 2nd.
Yes, we're having cake for her. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're having funfetti cake. We're covering the Whitney Houston case, which is wild because it happened totally different. So I'll give you a ticket to the live stream and you can watch it whenever. It's so good.
I'm so excited.
And Hillary Burton was one of our best guests. She did the Zodiac, which is a huge case, and she's amazing.
That case is crazy. Like what is the Whitney Houston case, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'll give you a couple of little details.
Okay.
Do you remember she was found in the bathtub?
Yes.
Okay. She was found face down in the bathtub. So when I heard that Whitney Houston drowned, I imagined she was laying in the bathtub and she like fell asleep, right? There are so many suspicious things around Whitney Houston. I will just say confidently, Whitney Houston was murdered.
Okay.
She did not drown in the bathtub.
Okay, so I need to check out your live show.
Yeah. And it's kind of like my Roman Empire. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's great. And then the other thing we have in common that we end up always talking about is narcissists.
I'm like assault and battery, trauma, survivors, all of it. Oh, and like, I feel like your life, there's so many things I relate to in your life now that I'm like going through now. And I'm like, oh, Ellen, how do I deal with this?
One thing that you and I have definitely proved time and time again is that even when you know the narcissist playbook, you can still fucking get duped.
Oh,
It
yeah.
it even when we know, you and I know. Like I I can write my own book if I wanted to of like how to spot a narcissist, and I get roped in every time to the point where I'm like maybe I'm the narcissist, honestly. Like it has to be me at this point. Like, I think it's me. Like yes.
Well, something I realize is that you're very caring and you're very like, if I have a bad day or you realize like my energy is off, you're like, "Oh, do you want to do a call?" And you're always there for me, and I appreciate that. And so like the narcissist can draw those empaths in and they feed on like, "Oh, you want to be there for me? Okay."
Yeah. Okay. How about yeah, we'll play that game. And it is and listening to some of the things that, you have gone through, you are going through, and I've said to you, I'm like, yeah, girl, it's the playbook. You know it. We know it and we still do it. And it's wild because I know we're smart in that arena, but then emotionally, it's that it's that thing. They know how to do it. They every time you just get roped in and you're like, "Oh my god, did I do it again?" And it's with anything because I had a coworker that was a narcissist and I saw and it was a blueprint and it goes back to my dad and it's just like all the same. And I tried to make myself not feel dumb, you know?
Well, I feel like the narcissist always like makes you feel dumb. You're like, "Oh, did I not see that correctly? Did I not do that right? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, what can I do to like, okay, do I need to go do speak well, I probably should because now I just messed up that. Should I do speech classes? Should I get this? Should I, you know, start reading ads and like do ad classes because
Right.
I suck at this podcasting game apparently."
I think that all you need for podcasting, it's not about I used to hate my voice, right? Because I'm with Rabia and Rabia has like this beautiful buttery voice. You can listen to her. It's not about the voice. I don't even think it's about the content. I think it's about someone's ability to relate and be vulnerable, and it is very vulnerable because sometimes have you ever found what you get behind the mic and we're sitting here and we're talking, but this is going to go out to people, but sometimes I forget that. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just sitting here talking to Tara, or I'm sitting here talking to Joey," and you forget that it's going to be out there for people to consume, but I actually think that's a strength. Like I
Yeah.
because that's the parts, the ugly parts, the messy parts. That's why people love bloopers and
Yeah.
outtakes, because it's like, "Oh wait, they're human." And I think that the messy is what people like
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
all messy.
Well, I think they like you because of your personality. You're outgoing. I think your show is really also entertaining in a sense too, with like you and Joey's dynamic. Because I honestly really like Joey. Like I don't talk to him as much as I talk to you,
Yeah.
but he seems like such a like sweet, like great soul,
Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
you know?
He's the kind of person that I'll give you an example. I was having a my daughter's 15. Take yourself back to being 15. And it's hard. Mom-daughter relationships are hard and it came out of the blue. It was like a light switch and I was teaching. I also teach theater to kids. I was teaching in Colombia. So I was like out of the country. I was in this hotel room and I was laying there just being like, I am failing at momming. I just I'm I you know just it's just like with anything. I called Joey It was 3:30 in the morning, Columbia time. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, am I a bad mom? And he was like, you're not a bad mom. What are you doing? But he just talked to me. He is one of those salt of the earth people. And, when everything went down in October, he was just protecting me. He was trying to get, to the bottom of it. He just saw me and my reactions. And I was, as, I know you were like, I was like a ghost because it all happened so fast. And I was trying to go, remember I just kept saying like, I don't know who that is. And they were like, no, we know you don't know who that. I kept saying, I don't know who that is. And all Joey cared about was like me being okay.
Yeah.
So Joey is the kind of person that's like, he's just loyal. He will be there for whatever you need anytime. He's just the best. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was like, I was being told there was a mob after me.
Wait, when?
Like at the festival.
Who told you?
That's why I was like crying hysterically in that one video, because like I was getting text messages and then like people like staff and stuff were telling us there was like a mob forming and stuff for us. And then so we like were getting out of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then that's when that like
or that video,
scene,
yeah.
Scene
Yeah.
1 or scene 2.
Yeah. That was scene 2, yes.
That was scene 2 happening. And then that's like why I was like so hysterical too, because and then also people were messaging me such nice messages.
So that is something that that Joey and I were like, and
yeah,
I understand being defensive, right?
Yeah.
And I understand being protective, but when you told me that, like, and you sent me those messages, I was like, no, this is not what we're doing. Like, you protecting somebody doesn't mean that you have to tear other people down. And that was something that, like, we put the kibosh on, like, with our listeners, because, if you handled it differently, I'd be like, go get 'em, boys. Like, but you didn't. And that's why I was like, I wanted, I wish for both of our mental health that you would have gotten what you asked for, which is that day you said, can I talk to Ellyn and Joey? And you were stopped from doing that. And I know that you were not, because you told me, because other people told me that I trust.
Yeah. Well, Allie was our handler.
Yeah. Well, that's who I trust. Allie implicitly.
Yeah.
She's gold.
And she was hugging me and I was crying in her like fucking boobs, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
And I was like, I just like, I wish like, is it like, and I thought she was texting someone to like make that happen, but I don't know. I don't know like what was going on, but I kind of assumed she was, and then that didn't necessarily happen because people were like thinking that we were gonna tear each other apart or something.
Yeah. Which is wild because the people involved who know me know that that's not my style. It's never been my style. Even when people come to us, about the podcast, we've had mean messages and, things like that. And I'm always like, all right, let's take a step back. What is upsetting you? And, I love turning a conversation around because the thing that everybody wants, we all want to be understood. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. And even if people have like a complaint or something, something we've said or done on the podcast, sometimes people just need to get that out and it needs to be received, empathetic way. And it's like we can still and we can still disagree at the end. We still don't even have to agree. But we can still come together. And I mean, it's what's just dividing our country. I mean, I don't even want to talk about politics, but it's true. It's like we all want the same things. We all want to be safe. We all want to have enough money to live. We all want to take care of our kids. And and I think that's what, the both of us came and realized through nobody's help but Sarah Turney and Roberta Blevins, okay?
Yes. Those are some real ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna see Sarah in Denver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you met Sarah in person?
Do you know I have to No. Wait. I can't even remember because we've done so many Zooms and stuff. No. I have not met Sarah in person.
Like, it was funny. I was saying that because, like, I was like, did I meet Sarah in person ever? I've never
I just
met.
had to think about that.
Yeah, like same vibe with you, like with the Zooms and everything and like calls, and I'm like, I've never met her in person. So I was like so excited to give people hugs.
I know. I know. Well, we met in person for the first time you came to our LA live show.
Oh yes, and honestly, thank goodness, because that night there was some drama. And not with you or I, but just like at another podcast festival.
What's happening with these podcast festivals? Stay away.
Stay away. Like, I was happy because I was able to go there and then have like a safe place, safe environment. Katie from Dateline was there.
Oh, isn't she the Wait, yeah. Kimberly.
Kimberly from Dateline was there.
She is so precious. I love Kimberly and Katie. They are the realest too. I love them.
Yes.
I think that it's so funny that women are kept out of politics so much because we actually just do a better job of just communicating.
Well, I agree. And I think that if we were in politics, we wouldn't be going back to, what is it, the 1950s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'm not, okay, if you're listening to this and you're a pro-lifer, I used to be a pro-lifer until I realized that, true crime goes up. Also, like when your friends have abortions and stuff, you want to be there to support them.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to have an understanding. I mean, I'm like, if I was raped or something, that would be a different story. But if I just like got pregnant like randomly, I would keep it, but that's my journey and that's like my own. And for anyone else to have that journey, like that's a whole freaking life.
Yeah.
And lowers crime rate if you make it a decision that you're happy with.
Yeah. My platform for running for politics would just be mind your business. Just mind your business. Why do you care? Why do you care? Take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, take care of your loved ones, take care of your friends. Why do you care? Why do you care what a trans kid in Wyoming is doing? Why do you care? That's my platform. Ellyn Marsh, 2028, mind your business.
Yes. Like, I don't know how I would feel because, like, there's one thing about, like, if a 2-year-old is, like, wanting that identity, I might be like, let's wait a little bit longer.
That doesn't, yeah, that doesn't really, that doesn't happen. I have a friend, one of my best friends, his little 2-year-old at about 4.
Okay.
She was born a male, wanted to wear dresses. And he was like, okay. Doesn't mean that she was trans.
Yeah.
But it was just like, that's what made her happy. And it wasn't like the idea that like they were going to the doctor and getting hormones. It was just like, no, but like a little kid doesn't know what they want. So just let them figure it out themselves,
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, like go on your journey. Like, I don't, like if you're 2 and want that, like, take a little bit more time to figure your journey out.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want that, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Please.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy and live your best life.
Yeah. But it is, of course, I'm going to loop this around. Of course, women can be narcissists. Absolutely.
Yes.
Women are way smarter. Their manipulations are way more intense. Men are much more volatile emotionally. This is generally speaking, of course. But it's that control too, that innate control. It's like, why are you trying to control what other people are doing? Why are you trying to control my reactions to you? And it all comes down to, you know, when men feel like they need to dominate. I had this whole bear versus man conversation on my Instagram. Did you see it? That
Yes.
stupid video?
Well, I only saw it because of you and bringing it to the forefront, and then also Kelsey. And then
Yeah.
I was like, what is the bear?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, and Kelsey Childs, who's also going to be in Denver. Her and Pamela have the Haunted Detective podcast. But it was like, I made this video. My girlfriends and I were in Montana. We were in Yellowstone, and there was a bear, like a warning bear sign. And I made like a 8-second video about, because they had this TikTok trend, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man? And these men got so angry. You're ugly. You're a fat bitch. I hope a bear rips you in two. And I was like, you see what we're talking about here? Like, point proven, I don't know. But
the only reason I would choose a man over a bear in the forest is because I've taken down a man before.
Oh, get merch. That has to be your merch. Oh, you heard it here first. Order the t-shirts, order the trucker hats. I'm first in line.
Oh my gosh, have you heard about that Hawk to what girl?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know what it was about at first, and then I Googled it because at first I was like, what is this? This kind of seems stupid. It's not stupid.
You gotta give that old Hawk to. And then they couldn't find that girl. Did they ever find her?
She did Zach Bryan's concert like the other day.
Okay.
And like she's selling, like I saw it, $67,000 worth of merch.
Good for her.
Right?
Yeah. Take your viral embarrassment and you fucking sell that merch, queen. I love that for you.
Right? But like the guy asked her a sexist question.
What was it?
I don't know necessarily what he said, but he like said something sexist to her, and then that was her response.
Okay. I don't know if I knew what the question was. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I had to Google it because I was like, huh. And then I was like, that is rad that was her response. Like, it was like Haktua, like, spitting.
Yeah, Google it if you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so proud of that girl. Proud of her female empowerment. Like, get it.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question on your podcast?
Of course.
When you are obviously a survivor of so many things, do you feel like surrounding yourself with the material all the time helps you, or do you think sometimes it keeps you in an emotional rut?
So I am slowing down on sharing my story. Like I don't talk about it as much anymore. I don't know if anyone's realized that out there. But and then I'm doing my own project that I've told you about. But that definitely, like, it was great for a time period talking about it, but now it's like more triggering and I don't need to have all these realizations like all the time. But even just being in the true crime space, I definitely take breaks, and that's why I feel like I have so many jobs.
Yeah.
Because I cannot watch a documentary when I'm triggered. I cannot do it. Like, and that was a part of the Survivor Squad too. Like, it was so great connecting with so many survivors, but we really had to figure out, like, okay, we could do one. And at one time, like, we wanted to both record, and I literally told Collier, like, I can't do this because, like, I need to, process. I need to process their trauma too, which is totally normal with the secondary trauma. So I definitely think it does. I think it, and there's statistics. There's who was it? It was Mel Robbins came out and like did the thing about like true crime and your mental health and stuff, where, that is a thing,
Uh-huh.
and especially say, like, if I was watching something, the person was kidnapped,
Uh-huh.
that wouldn't trigger me as much as someone getting stabbed,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I just always wonder that because, when I have listened, when I watch your reels, I think that because I have always felt like you were survivor focused. Your previous partner, I didn't get that same vibe. I always felt like you were there for your guests and for that journey. But even sometimes just listening, because naturally when we listen, you correlate it to yourself, right? And when you feel that, oh right, I remember when I felt that, or I remember the time when that felt, that's a natural human reaction. That's not like centering yourself in someone else's story. So sometimes, I feel even when we cover true crime and I see something that triggers me from, my past or my abuse or anything, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, no, it is heavy. And your stuff is so survivor focused, and you're always, speaking about it that I've always wondered how that weighs on your mental health. And you're always so honest about where you are. Like sometimes you're like, "Yep, I was in yoga and I wasn't feeling good and I felt, and like you know yourself, your body, like, your triggers and stuff." And so sometimes I just think to myself like, "Well, that can't be good because she's just centered in it all the time." And on one hand, it's amazing because you're a great interviewer and you are so empathetic to these women and you give them a platform, but at the same time, it's like I worry about you.
Well, that's why I sprinkle in like a few dating episodes or
Yeah.
like relationship experts or something like that. And then I also bake cookies Thursday and Saturdays.
I have never received a cookie, Tara. Okay?
Sorry, I had a cough. So they're like, I have to buy, well, like, I'll buy you a cookie, I'll bring one to Denver. But like, you have to like pay for it, then you have to ship it out. And I don't know if you ever shipped cookies, but it doesn't taste the same.
Oh, really? Well, because it
No.
takes like a day or two and then it's like never the same. Also, shipping is a fucking racket. Why is shipping so expensive?
That's, yes, you were telling me about this with like your group in Canada
Yeah.
and stuff.
Oh my
Your group
God.
in Canada.
Oh, Canada's. I don't even want to talk about it. No, but Romani, that is I love that woman. And she's your friend, right?
Yes, love
I
her.
love her. She knows everything.
She does. She's told me like lots of wisdom too in life. She's like, Tara,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing great. Yes, well, let's talk about like the final nature of our panel, and then maybe let's get into some stuff for the Patreon if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
What are we
So
gonna
the
do for the panel,
panel.
Tara?
Okay, so I think we should start out with like a Bravo TV like clip.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like, so guys, that was us. Should I have my friend like do a FaceTime and like, okay, I'm friends with Vicky. Should I ask her if she could FaceTime us?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
You
I'll
know
ask
the
her.
most random people.
Hi, baddies. I want to take a moment to talk to you about my podcasting course. It is 8 weeks. You could take it on your own whenever you want. You can learn how to start your own podcast or really fine tune your own that you have now. You can learn anything all the way from equipment to interviewing survivors, learning a bit about narcissism, about cults, and the basics. So if you want to start a true crime podcast, I really encourage you to check out my 8 week course. I also have Haley Gray involved in it. She is part of one of the weeks, and I'm super excited to have her involved in the course. So please check it out. I also have live starting for the course in October. So check it out. Yeah.
Well, people love to meddle in other people's lives. I don't want to know your life. My life is too much already. I can barely handle myself.
Same. Well, actually, I do like to not gossip, but just like get to know what the no is.
Sure. You know a lot. I learn a lot from you. Yeah. You're like, and this. I'm like, oh, okay. I have like popcorn on the other side of the phone.
I'm like,
Okay.
this guy, there's a
Yeah.
scandal with this guy. Well,
Yeah.
it's really great because if you just take anyone's name and you Google sexual allegations,
The things we have to do to date. Wait, not to turn this into a dating episode, but I do talk about this. What do you do before you go on a blind date? Do you Google their name and sexual allegations?
well, you have to kind of get a little bit more information from them.
Uh huh.
So I had one of my friends run a background search on the guy that I went on a date with last night, and we found out that he only has a traffic citation from 2006.
I love that.
And then luckily, I always randomly like have mutuals with someone.
Okay.
So I'll ask the mutuals, but sometimes like the mutuals like will think that the person's like the greatest person and then not see stuff,
Right.
so you can't like fully go off of that
Right.
because narcissists are so charming. Um,
Yep.
but you like do all the background things. I also like to go on Instagram and check them out, see their tagged photos.
Ding ding. Tagged photos. Yes, it's always the tagged photos. Idiot. That's where the juice is. You can't go to the grid. The grid is curated, the grid is controlled. The tagged photos.
Because you're like, oh, does he have a girlfriend? The girlfriend's always posting. Like, come on,
Yep.
like, let's get real. In my relationship, I was posting more too, and there
Yep.
wasn't shady, like, shenanigan cheating going on there, but like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
It's always in the tagged photos. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that. Also, you can go and you can see on TikTok, there's a way to see what people have liked.
Yes, some people have it hidden though.
Yeah, but like you can see, you're like, oh, okay, what kind of knowing someone's algorithm tells you a lot about them, actually. I know that
Yeah.
sounds really Gen Z, but it's like you can kind of get a vibe for the kind of person that they are by the thing. Like if someone were to hand you your phone, you're like, let me have your TikTok for 5 minutes. I'd be like, I know exactly who you are. Are you a homebody? Are you a partier? Do you like MMA? Whatever it is.
I'm obsessed with the badass baker on TikTok.
Wait, who is that?
She lives in Leander, Texas, but she does all these like baking videos of the cakes and stuff. But she's kind of like saucy. And she's like, how much do you think I paid? Like, and just like tells stories about like, one was funny. Like, she was like, my husband's ex-girlfriend hit me up for a cake. And she just like went to it and stuff. And she's like, what do you think I said to that? And she was
I
like,
need
what? No.
to I need to find it. I need to find it. My ex-husband is dating a model.
What? That's unfair.
She's gorgeous. Oh my
But do
god,
you do you
she's
like him or no?
mm, mm,
Mm.
no. I don't understand it. I'm on her side. I'm just like, why? I actually thought maybe she was a blind model. Like maybe it was like a thing where she was like a famous model and they're like, and she's blind. Turns out she has perfect eyesight. Who knew? She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. Well, like, let's get real. Like, everyone needs like a thing to do every now and then.
You're right, Tara.
Every model. Let's get real. She gets probably bored too. She's like,
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
he was there.
Yeah,
Okay.
had to be.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait, back to our panel. We got
Yes.
sidetracked. Okay, so we're gonna have our Bravo moment,
Yes.
and then we're gonna tell our story and tell all our secrets.
Yes. And I think we should play the Margarita song because I really like it when Joey dances to that.
Wasn't that funny?
Yes.
That was so funny. Um, and yeah, when, oh, no, wait. Oh, no. And then I was like, I'm editing myself, Tara. You're welcome.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm saving you the edit. And yeah, I think people are just, I don't know, excited to like hear us talk about pretty much like what we, talked about. Because, like I said, I will continue to say this. You are the only one, and there were several people involved. Most of them had penises. And you were the only one. Yeah. So,
Well, yeah. Well, and we'll talk about some educational shit too.
educational shit. Tara, tell them educational shit.
We reconciled and we'll take you through the steps of that. It's not at the top of my head right now. How, well, mutual connection, seeing each other for not being like the others, like finding
Yeah.
that middle ground. And we'll take you through the panel. So just buy a virtual ticket.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Or go.
It'll be great. We promise it'll be great.
We promise.
We'll be on mushrooms. Tara's bringing them. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm going to be on them for that, though.
No, I'm kidding, Tara.
Because I might, well, I don't know if, like, you microdose. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like I'm a confident bitch.
I have never microdosed mushrooms. Joey and I just did a mushroom MDMA journey, but I've never microdosed them.
Okay.
Like, we did a journey where, like, you go and, like, you do the whole thing, and it's like a 6-hour thing, and you
Sound
do it with like
bowls.
sound
love
bowls, all that. Have you done that?
I have them.
No, but have you done like a mushroom? It's a mushroom MDMA mixture. It's sort
I'm
of like
scared
kind of like
MDNA.
MDMA. Yeah,
MDMA. I'm
yeah.
scared
Or
of
you could
it.
just do like the mushrooms, but it's like a whole journey into your brain. You wear an eye mask so that you don't hallucinate. So that all of the sort of stuff is happening in your brain. You're not seeing it. So you're not like seeing people like turn into dinosaurs or anything. You're just like working with like your brain. So you actually like wear like a sleep mask while you do it.
Okay. I love it. It's the right and the left hemisphere, the brain talking to each other.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, that's a good experience. We're not going to be on mushrooms
Okay.
for that. So the panel is going to be great. We're probably going to get off on a tangent, maybe.
Probably. Seeing how this podcast has gone, I'm thinking we're going to like go on a tangent or two.
And by the way, like my podcast, unless it's like another person that I vibe with, it's like it just sometimes goes all over the place, but other times it's very like together.
Yeah. I don't like together. I'm fine being your not together guest.
God bless. There's actually another girl that was on, and I love her episode too, but she's going to the festival. I can't talk anymore. Damn it. It's because we started talking about mushrooms.
She's going to the vegetable.
She's going to the vegetable. She's going to the festival.
Okay.
And her name is Ashley, and she's so funny. I love her.
Okay.
Ashley Richards.
What podcast is she from?
I think it's That's So Fucked Up podcast.
Oh, okay. I saw her artwork. Yes. I saw her name and like remembered it.
Yeah, so another great vibe. So lots of people going. There's Sarah Turney going. Lainey's the festival person. And I love that you guys chatted and then you guys were like, do you want to do a panel on this? And I was like, yes, I'm down.
Yeah. I think it's a perfect button to our story for sure.
I love that.
Also, I think we can tell it at the panel, but I don't not embarrass you, but I'm going to tell you one of my favorite Terra stories. Joey and I were in, I want to say, oh my gosh, I lose track. I want to say Columbus. And I was like, you were going for that job interview. And I knew you were going for the job interview. And then I was like, wait, how did the job interview go? And you're like, well, I think I didn't get the job because I told them the story of Obsessed Fest. And I FaceTimed you immediately. And I was like, girl, what? Because wasn't the question like tell a story of like a time where you had like a bad reaction to something? What was the question?
Tell me about a time where you reconciled at work or dealt with like a work problem or issue or something. And I was like, well, less like technical work issue. And then
Oh
like,
God. And
uh,
you told me and I was crying laughing. I was like, Tara, don't tell strangers that story.
I'm authentically me and I own up to all my shit.
You do. It is one of your most endearing qualities. And you're just a stand-up human, so that.
God bless, you are too. And I love this. Well, I think that's the perfect note to wrap up on and then get to the Patreon so we can,
Yeah.
just banter about some other stuff.
Okay.
But where can we find you on social media, everything?
Oh, thank you. You can find me, just my regular old nonsense, at Ellen Marsh on all platforms. I do spell my name with a Y. Take it up with my mother. And then you can find Joey and I at I Think Not Pod. You can find Rabia and I at Rabia and Ellen. And you can find Love is Blind podcast at Grab Bag Collab. I love interacting with people. I love making content. Most of it is just silly nonsense. So I would love to see you and hear with you and interact with you. But I'm just so grateful that you had me on. Thank you for letting me be your guest.
Thank you so much. And let's continue on to the Patreon. Thank you for listening to this episode with Ellen. I hope to see you at True Crime and Paranormal Festival. If you can't come, a reminder that there is still virtual tickets for purchase. You can watch our panel virtually as well. And then Ellen will be joining me in my podcast course as well. Lives are starting October. So you get to come, join, learn about ethical true crime podcasting. And I'm so excited. It's 8 weeks. It's just really fun. If you have a podcast already, you can come and join. If you want to start a podcast, you can come and join. It's really for everyone that just wants to learn about ethics and really perfect their own podcast and their own craft. So I'm excited for that. And, lots of fun, exciting things are happening with coaching, with more collabs. And just stay tuned, guys. It's going to be amazing. But until next time, I'm Terra and Ellyn, and thank you for listening to Tara's Baddies Club.